Suburban Sentinel here, along with Bella the camera cat, and the topic of discussion today is revolvers. And just to start off, all of these weapons have been previously safety checked off camera. I did a very similar video to this about a year ago, but when I shot that video, I was pretty much half asleep and sounded like an idiot. So I decided to remake the video, so now I'll be a well-rested idiot. The defensive handgun world is dominated by semi-automatic pistols. As the striker-fired high-capacity polymer handguns rose in popularity, the trusty revolver was quickly swept aside by law enforcement and civilians alike. To many shooters, the revolver is now just a significant historical step in firearms technology that, like the flintlock, is no longer relevant for general use. The question is whether the wheel gun really just is an anachronism. In my view, the revolver, that pinnacle of 19th century firearms technology, is still both relevant and, in many circumstances, preferable to more modern handgun designs. The venerable Revolver platform has some distinct advantages over semi-automatic pistols. First and foremost is simplicity of operation. Without safeties, decockers, slide stop levers, and the like, revolvers are just plain easier to use. Now, simplicity is paramount for people who cannot train with their firearms to remain in a constant state of combat-ready proficiency. This is of particular importance in an emergency where the adrenaline rush turns one's normally deft hands into catcher's mitts. In addition, the ease of operation means that training a neophyte to make the gun go bang is much easier as well. Also, revolvers are, from a practical standpoint, more reliable. Now, no question that finely made pistols are incredibly reliable. But in my humble opinion, the revolver still has the edge. Fewer moving parts means fewer failures, all else being equal. Also, revolvers are less susceptible to operator-induced stoppages. Limp wristing or an improper grip on a slide-actuated gun often translates into jams. No such worries on a wheel gun. The battery of arms on a revolver is also much easier and intuitive. Pulling the trigger again on a misfired round is much more natural and faster than clearing a pistol for most people. Certainly, anyone who uses a pistol should be proficient in clearing malfunctions. But in the real world of jobs, kids, and mortgages, average shooters don't get to train as often as they should. Semi-automatic pistols have not come to dominate the market by accident. Revolvers do have some serious limitations, most notably capacity. In comparison to a high-cap pistol with 15 or more rounds aboard, a 5 or 6 shot revolver seems like downright paltry inventory. The question is whether an average armed citizen needs more than the single-digit capacity a revolver provides. Many argue that when it comes to having ammo for a fight, some is good, more is better, and too much is wonderful. Certainly that makes perfect sense. But we should not forget that ammunition doesn't win gunfights. Putting rounds on target does. If one does not maintain a constant state of combat proficiency, a simpler platform is likely preferable. A person with a wheel gun that will go bang 5 times is much better off than someone fumbling in vain to clear a malfunction in an 18-shot pistol. I have heard many times that the vast majority of firearm altercations end using 3 rounds or less. This has been repeated so often that it is practically gospel. However, I have been unable to find hard data to support this proposition. It certainly sounds plausible, but as the old saying goes, without facts, you're just a person with an opinion. So absent credible evidence, I will revert to some basic common sense. How many rounds is enough for self-defense? If it's a one-on-one situation, 5 rounds should get the job done with 2 or 3 rounds to spare. Of course, we can always conceive of many scenarios where you are out of the fight due to an empty gun while 1 or more attackers remain standing. The gang attack on the lone armed citizen is most often used to argue in favor of high-capacity pistols. However, is the gang attack realistic? If people use some common sense, the chances of a mass attack are pretty remote. Avoiding trouble by staying out of dangerous neighborhoods and maintaining situational awareness takes precedence over carrying more rounds, in my opinion. Another distinct disadvantage of a revolver is the reload. Even with cool gizmos like speed loaders and moon clips, replenishing the cartridges in a wheel gun takes time and fine motor skills. In my opinion, only the most accomplished practitioners can load a revolver as quickly as a magazine-fed handgun, so the advantage goes to the autoloader. One often overlooked downside to the revolver is recoil. With a pistol, much of the gun's energy is absorbed by the force required to cycle the slide. In contrast, the shooter absorbs more of that energy using the revolver platform. All things being equal, this makes hitting your target and getting back on target with the wheel gun more difficult. But this is largely theoretical. Some folks just flat out shoot better with one platform or the other for mysterious reasons or no reason at all. Finally, we come to accessories. The Picatinny-style rail has become the darling of the tactical firearms world. A rail allows a plethora of devices to be easily mounted on our weapons. Modern railed handguns often sport lasers and weapon lights on the frame beneath the barrel. Railed revolvers are an oddity, and I know of only 2 models, both of which are from Smith & Wesson. A railed revolver would be of somewhat limited utility, as the side blast from the cylinder gap would wreak havoc on wires and fingers used to control externally mounted devices. As a defensive handgun, the revolver is not only still relevant, but is sometimes superior to auto-loading pistols. No question, the revolver's inherent capacity limitations deserve careful consideration. One must balance the chances of a gang-type attack against the likelihood of not being competent with our pistols under the stress of an armed confrontation. In my estimation, most casual gun enthusiasts are more likely to fumble with their gun than meet a small horde of banditos who won't scatter after the first shot goes off. As such, I believe that the old school revolver remains a viable option for defensive handgun owners. My solution to the inherent capacity limitations of the revolver is that I will carry 2 guns. A 5 or 6 shot revolver will be my primary carry, along with a semi-automatic pistol in most cases, although in hot weather like we're having now, I'll carry this J-frame as a backup gun. So let me know what you folks out there in YouTube land think about the venerable wheel gun. This is the Suburban Sentinel. Please thumbs up and subscribe if you like what you see. Questions and enlightening comments are always welcome. Shoot safely, everybody.